My husband is having an affair with his married coworker. I guess the sanctity of marriage does not mean very much to these two people. We are already 7 days into our advent calendar. I don't know about you, biased opinion, but I am loving these full-length stories. So let's get into day 7. This story first began July 13th, 2024. My husband and I have 3 kids, 8, 6, and 2, the oldest of which has cancer. How do I just breeze over that? And the mistress has 2 kids, 4 and 20. My husband and I have had the occasional conflict here and there, and while I acknowledge it can sometimes be a struggle, we generally got along well and always apologized at the end. Though the conflicts we had were only occasional, they did sometimes feel like a lose-lose situation because neither of us felt like our feelings were being heard due to defense mechanisms and other triggers. I had asked several times if we could see a therapist and work out some better conflict resolution skills, and he always said he wanted to think about it, but never actually agreed. I decided to attend individual therapy to work on my own resolution skills. Despite this, we had what I perceived to be an otherwise pretty happy and loving relationship full of laughter and connectedness. Unfortunately, this week, my husband unexpectedly told me he has fallen out of love with me and that he wants a divorce. On my birthday. You couldn't pick any other day. Any other day. 10 minutes earlier, 11:50 p.m. the night before. Any other day. Nope. Happy birthday. I'd like a divorce. I also don't love you anymore. P.S. Cheating with the woman from work. We haven't gotten there yet. He said it was because of how we handle conflict together, and he's known for a couple years, and it was inevitable. I was completely blindsided by this because I would often periodically check in to see if he was happy, and he had always said yes. He said brutal things about dreading being in the room with me and being intimate with me. That's rude. I was absolutely shattered. He became so harsh and cold that it was like he was a different person. He has never talked to me like that in 16 years. He said he wanted 50-50 custody of my kids, and I was crushed because my babies are my entire life. Friends and family were concerned that he was cheating. I work 12-hour shifts and rely on my husband to do school pickups, but lately he was frequently working through lunches, which left my parents to pick up the kids. He also worked late and would delay picking up my kids from their grandparents' house for a couple of hours. I was always so appreciative of how hard he worked for our family. I didn't want to believe it, but when I checked his phone, I discovered everything. Lots of noodle photos from both of them. If you're new here, noodles means in nude. Videos of them having at work, that's illegal. Videos of them having in hotels, face selfies of my husband waiting in my son's hospital room, conversations about arguments my husband and I had, and the mistress responding and saying that I had to get an effing clue and that she was happy he was able to put it back on me. Sick people. I screenshotted everything and sent them to myself before I confronted him. Turns out he's in love with his mistress and wants to be with her. He said it's complicated and that she has not told her husband about the affair. It's been going on for over a year. My son was literally diagnosed with his cancer in September, and I'm honestly sick to my stomach knowing that he has done this throughout this time. Despite it all, I completely am devastated to lose him. His conversations with her look like a completely different person. Never in a million years would I have guessed that it was him. I sent him away to sleep in his work office that night, but the following day he called and said he wants to be with his kids and be at the house indefinitely until we finalize the divorce. He has a right to be in his own home, but being around him has been making me physically ill. I am absolutely miserable, clueless on where to start, and heartbroken watching him leave the house and knowing where he is going. I've told him that I legally am still his wife and that I do not want him talking to his mistress at all while he's under my roof or around my kids. He has agreed to do so, but he has been so deceptive that it doesn't mean much to me anymore. I can't imagine being stuck in the situation for months or longer. He even had the nerve to ask me if his mistress can be around my kids. I don't have kids, but I can only imagine the fury of thinking about your husband's mistress being around your children. I'm seeing red. Prison.
Right to jail.
Jail time, life sentence. Probably why I shouldn't be a mom. Or should be. I am so furious, so sad, so distressed, and I feel like I just want to die. My kids don't know what is going on yet, but they have been sensing that I've been distressed. I'm trying to hold it together and lean on family and friends. I'm also super stressed about losing our home. My husband is wanting to sell it, and my parents have mentioned they may be able to buy him out. I haven't told my husband this because I need to figure out how that might work, and I don't want to make his life any easier at this point. My credit is meh, and interest rates are so high though that I'm afraid I won't be able to keep my low interest rate from when I bought the home a few years ago if they were to buy him out. It's all just too much to lose at once. I can't eat. I've lost 10 pounds in 1 week. I can't sleep. I've never been so depressed in my entire life. In 1 week, almost every single aspect of my life has been threatened. Someone tell me it gets better because I am barely hanging on. Girl, it gets better. It gets better. It probably gets worse before it gets better though. That's probably not helping. Let's check out what the people of Reddit are saying. First comment, 6 things to do right away. First, see a shark lawyer with all the evidence of his cheating. Even if you live in a no-fault state, they can be used as a bargaining chip to get a better settlement. Second, do an STD test to make sure that he didn't give you any. Third, find a therapist to start your own healing journey. Fourth, tell all your family and friends about his cheating so they know why you are filing for a divorce. Fifth, make sure to let affair partner's husband know about his wife's cheating. I didn't think about that. Do you think she's going to? Probably. She's down bad right now. She might do it. You will come out of this tunnel of pain one day with a smile on your face. So be kind to yourself and be patient. Next comment. Tell the OBS, which means other betrayed spouse. Inform him of his wife's affair and let him know you have irrefutable evidence in the form of texts, pictures, and videos of their infidelity. That may put one of them or both out of their affair fog. Lawyer up. Prepare divorce papers ready to be served. It will be good to have them ready, and you can always break up the divorce procedure later on if you decide to give him another chance. Mans doesn't want another chance. Mans is ready to be in a relationship with mistress. I don't think he said some horrible things. He's not in love with her anymore. I don't think that's even an option, even if she wanted that. Next comment. Well, I would honestly really think about telling her husband, as it's not fair for him to be kept in the dark, but I would speak to a lawyer before I do anything. Like it's been said, talk to a lawyer because although it would be good to tell them about their work and get them both fired from their jobs, it might be better for you to wait until after the divorce or once your son has finished his treatment if he's on your husband's insurance. You should also talk with your options about getting your parents to buy your husband out of the house with your lawyer and a mortgage broker. Ask about your options, like if your parents are added to the mortgage, can you get a better rate? Get a lawyer and start protecting yourself and your kids by making sure you have a fair settlement. Don't waive anything that you are entitled to and make sure that he pays child support for his children, because even if you have 50-50 custody, if he makes significantly more than you, he still might have to pay. Also, since you have a child currently going through treatment for cancer, I think having one primary parent is in the best interest of the child, so I would still ask for primary custody. The fact that your husband wasn't available to pick the kids up, spending time away in hotels when he could have been spending time with his family, and wasting money on the affair when he has a sick child at home may help, but get yourself the best lawyer that you can that will fight for you and your children's best interests. There's so much in there that I didn't even think about. You have videos of them being intimate at work. Both could be fired from their jobs, but also you need father to pay child support, and also you have a sick child at home, so that could affect your family in a negative way. The insurance, if your child's under the, better you than me, because truly, I'm unequipped to handle something like this. We have a first update. It came over 1 month later, August 19th, 2024. Oh my gosh, it's a letter. It's a letter she wrote to the mistress. All right, I am a scorned wife talking to the mistress that just ruined my whole life, shattered my family, my hopes. All right, I promise I'm not going to read this in an annoying way. Dear Mistress, it has been a few weeks since I found out about your affair with my husband. I recently read the messages you shared with my husband during the most vulnerable and painful conflict of my life. I saw what you wrote about how you felt I should get a clue and that you were happy that my husband was able to put it back on me. I would like to share with you what exactly was on the line during that conversation and why I was so shocked and devastated by it. In an instant, everything I've loved for the last 16 years was taken from me. When he mentioned divorce, I was completely blindsided. That word never came up in the entire length of our relationship together. I am not blind to the fact that conflict was sometimes a struggle. It was something we were working on, and we regularly made an effort to try and listen and apologize. I was also prioritizing therapy to help improve on our conflict resolution skills and identify an unhealthy defense mechanism that we had. Whenever I asked him to try therapy, he always said he wanted to think about it, but ultimately he never did it. Outside of that, we had what I had perceived to be an overall happy relationship full of love, friendship, and laughter. When I was uncertain how he was feeling, I would ask him, and he always said that he was happy and that he loved me. It is clear now that he was lying, but at the time, all I had was his word and actions to go off of. The day he mentioned divorce, I was suddenly facing the potential to lose the love of my life, my best friend, my home, and the livelihood of my 3 babies with no warning. I'm sure you can imagine how that might feel. Imagine now that your life is crumbling before you and then you are left in the darkness for days, uncertain whether it all lives or dies. This is how I felt during the conversation my husband told you. I was terrified of losing my family. I couldn't eat or sleep. All I thought about was what it meant for my kids and my 16-year relationship. Each day that went by, my husband repeated that he was too tired to talk. After a couple days of this, I needed answers for the sake of my family. I see that you wrote how aggravated you were that my emotions and feelings needed to be addressed immediately for my own relief. Sincerely, I hope you never have to go through the terror of this same ordeal. Never in my life have I felt so much overwhelming pain and sadness, ever. If she's going to date your husband, she might go through this, because they do say once a cheater, always a cheater. Some people might disagree, but thank you for your input anyway. I am writing this letter from one woman to another now. My husband made the choice to be unfaithful in our marriage. He is the one that chose to violate that promise, and I will always hold him accountable for that. That being said, you should also know that your affair with him has destroyed my entire family. My sons are sensing the distress in the air and have been asking where their dad is, to wait to eat dinner with him until their food gets cold because they want to eat as a family. They have been frequently asking why he is so late. I also rely on my husband to pick up the kids from school on the days that I work, and have noticed that lately he has to work through lunches and stay late, which left my older parents to have to pick them up from school and take care of them for hours longer than they expected to while the boys waited for their dad. Now, I know why he was always late, but they don't. The kids don't understand why. My oldest son is also going through chemo treatments and pending assessment for autism. He doesn't respond well to change, and we have been very concerned with how this news will affect his condition and recovery. If he relapses after this situation, you should know that I will blame you for it. My 2-year-old has been crying almost constantly and clinging to us as we try to leave. He is a baby and was under a year old when you started this, but they pick up more than you think. My 6-year-old asked why his dad wasn't there in the morning, and I had to lie to him and tell him that he was working early. I also want to thank you for the lovely surprise of realizing that I needed to make an appointment to check for STDs as a grown married adult. My husband has been intimate with me throughout your entire affair. I know you are also married, and so it's safe to assume you have also been intimate with your husband all this time too. I just don't know why you wouldn't rather use the strength of your womanhood to further your sisters. Instead, you have chosen the cowardly route of tearing other women down to further your own ends. You know that he's a married man and you laugh about it. He just had a baby and he has a wife and 3 kids. I just don't understand what kind of self-respecting woman would do something like this. You have caused me so much pain and sorrow. I could never do this to another human being. You should tell your husband before I do it for you. All right. Do you think she should have sent a letter or wrote this out to the mistress? Personally, I wouldn't, because like you said, you knew he was married and you laughed about it. She doesn't care. I understand you're trying to get her to understand like how wrong and awful what she did was, but she's doing it to her own husband and kids as well. Like, even the thought of her own husband and children are not enough for her to not do this. You think yours matters? She don't care. Oh, we have another update, which brings us to recent times. I'm intrigued. But first, we're gonna drink some water. That's the rule. In order to continue this video, you need to take a sip of water, okay? Just kidding, do whatever you want. Cheers. Can you even see the diamonds on this shirt? You can't. It just looks like a plain, boring white shirt. I have to show you. It needs to be shown. It's a magical shirt. It's not doing justice. Look at it. Look at these adorable little diamonds all over it. Also, burn, looking so much better. The lighting does not do this shirt justice. What a shame. So remember how I bought this adorable Christmas mug from Dollarama? Well, someone in my comment section was like, actually, there's 4 of these mugs at Dollarama, but I had not found them yet. Until now. I found them. I did not buy 4 more. There was a Christmas tree, a snowman, this wreath, and then this one. And I did buy 2 of these ones. I'm out of control. I know, but look how cute. Come on. Ugh, I couldn't not. I mean, I absolutely could have not, but I chose not to, so. All right, so the next update came 15 months later. It is November 15th, 2025. First and foremost, my son is officially cancer-free. Oh, I'm so happy to hear that. I really hope there's more good news to follow, but that makes me very happy. He rang the bell of chemo completion at the end of 2024. He is healthy and living a normal childhood now with his siblings, and I am truly so grateful. I took the advice of many on here and got the best attorney in town. I called multiple other high talent ones as well to get consultations, as I was told it would then be a conflict of interest for them to work with my husband at that point. I filed for divorce in August of 2024, and the divorce was final in November of 2024. My attorney told me everything to say to my ex and was a secret ghostwriter on my paperwork. He never even knew that I had an attorney. I told my ex at the time that I was trying to puzzle through the best housing scenario for our kids. My oldest child was still going through his chemo treatments and is also autistic, so he doesn't adjust well to change. I knew if we sold the house, the boys would lose their childhood home and also exchange schools, which would be rough on them. By the grace of God, my ex voluntarily offered to walk away from the house and forego hundreds of thousands of dollars of equity in the home if I paid off his debts. He had made maybe $30,000 in debt and a car payment, so my incredible parents helped me pay him off, and we essentially bought him out of his portion of the house while still keeping my low interest rate from the time we had purchased. My ex didn't have a hint of remorse up until this point, but I think he finally realized the effect all of this would have on the children. He was also heavy in his affair fog and probably just wanted to wash his hands of me as fast as possible. So when he offered to walk from the house, that was the time that I ran to get an attorney and make sure it was done correctly. We talked to title companies at first, but the attorney told me it was not necessary to do so and that my ex could just sign an interspousal transfer deed along with our stipulated judgment, and the house would legally be mine. My ex and the affair partner are still together. He has told my kids that he has a girlfriend and plans to move in with her and my kids in April. I have the kids in weekly therapy and they are doing well with it. My ex decided he didn't actually want 50-50 custody, and I have 70% custody of them. So my ex essentially gets them every other weekend and one random overnight weeknight a week. This was his idea. It was hard to be away from my babies, but I tried to remind myself that they were safe and happy with their dad and use that time to just focus on myself. He also pays me a large amount of child support every month because this requested custody agreement. Not sure he ever realized this, but it is very helpful. I have revamped my home and redecorated it to make it my sanctuary, and I absolutely love it. My ex is renting an apartment in a cheaper part of town. The affair partner's husband is now aware of the circumstances, and they are in the process of completing their divorce. I am personally doing very well now. I lost a significant amount of weight and go to the gym regularly. I also go to church and therapy each week. I have heavily poured into my self-growth and have become a completely different person full of peace and contentment. I also regularly invest in beauty treatments that make me feel happy, like my hair, nails, and lashes, and my confidence has never been higher. My ex still tries to trigger me and speaks to me in a condescending tone on a regular basis. I took advice of some of you people on here and I gray rock the crap out of him. He truly doesn't know what to do with himself anymore. It's like I've pulled an Uno reverse and he can't process it. Between my mental growth and my physical changes, he always looks visibly confused. On the bright side, the affair partner gained a bunch of weight, and it has been fun to hear people's commentary on that. Normally, I'm a total girl's girl, but after the way she treated me, I will secretly relish in it. I decided it was important to keep conversations with my kids regarding my ex's relationship with the AP age appropriate. They don't know about the way the relationship started, but if they are older and they ever ask, I will be honest with them. I am now dating someone new. It's been a little scary to get back out there, but I am trying to trust in time, consistency, emotional intelligence, and high effort. You all deserve the same. I was depressed for some time, but I saw a psychiatrist and started some meds, and it has changed my life. Now it says OP gave more information in the comments, and I love that for me because I want some more information here. Someone asked if OP's ex's family is still present in the children's lives. My ex occasionally takes them to see his mom, who has started to have some memory problems, but sadly he was never great about calling or making plans. She was so upset when she found out about the affair that she wanted to change her trust to my name. What a plot twist that would be. I had to convince her not to do that. I was pretty close with his mom, so I still talk to her here and there. She is my kid's grandmother and a sweet lady. Now, this is what OOP had to say about people's commentary on the affair partner's weight gaining. OP said, sure, the weight comments specifically were from friends who knew about the cheating and had seen pictures of her at the start of the affair. Once my ex started posting her, people started messaging me saying that she clearly had gained a lot of weight. I just laughed and shrugged it off a bit, but yeah, it looks like she gained 40 or 50 pounds. I've literally seen that girl's freaking colon from all the super fun pics and stuff, so I remember it. Right, you saw her body and full disclosure. My ex and I had a ton of mutual friends, and so even though I didn't follow his posts and stories anymore, our friends had a tendency to tell me about them or send them to me. One of my favorites that comes to mind is when a mutual friend messaged me a photo and said, wait, I'm sorry, this is who he left you for? I thought this was his mom. Another time, my heavily accented elderly neighbor brought me tomatoes and told me that she saw the girl waiting in the car that day, that he was moving out, and my neighbor gave her the biggest stink eye. Then she said in her English accent, ugly, ugly girl. Love me, an angry old lady. Well then, I need all your thoughts and feelings and opinions on this story. Absolutely. Obviously, the end there, she is speaking out of anger and her friends are like trying to make her feel better and hype her up. Like, this is who he left you for, girl. You're so much hotter than her. But body shaming is never a good thing and never nice and never kind. Although some might say that she deserves it and she did a lot worse, it's still, let's just kill him with kindness, you know? Easier said than done though, let me tell you. Let me tell you. All right? Stay classy out there. Stay sassy. I'll see you tomorrow.